Static on the line. It all started on a quiet evening when Yumi, a curious 16-year-old, wandered into an abandoned park on her way home. The place had been shut down for years, overgrown with weeds and crumbling into ruins. As she walked past a rusted old payphone standing oddly intact, she heard it ring. Yumi froze. A payphone? Ringing? She hesitated but then picked up the receiver, her curiosity getting the better of her. "Hello," she said tentatively. "Yumi," a shaky voice replied. "It's you. It's me. Please listen carefully. You're in danger." Yumi's stomach flipped. "Who is this? How do you know my name?" "It's me from the future," the voice said, panic rising. "There's no time to explain everything. You must leave the park now. Don't trust anyone who comes after you. Please." The line went dead, replaced by a crackling static. Yumi stood there, heart pounding. This had to be a prank, right? But something about the voice. It sounded eerily familiar, like her own, but older, more desperate. She hung up and glanced around the park. Shadows stretched long in the fading light, and suddenly, it didn't feel so empty. As Yumi turned to leave, she spotted someone walking toward her, a man in a dark coat, his face hidden beneath a hat. He moved too quickly, like he knew exactly where she was. Panic surged through her. The payphone's warning echoed in her mind. "Don't trust anyone who comes after you." Yumi bolted, her sneakers slapping against the cracked pavement. The man called out, but she didn't stop to listen. She ran straight home, locking every door and window behind her. That night, she couldn't sleep. Her mind raced with questions. Was the voice really her? What danger was she in? The next day, Yumi returned to the park. The payphone stood silent, its receiver dangling uselessly. She picked it up and pressed it to her ear. Static. But just as she was about to leave, it rang again. Yumi's hand trembled as she answered. "Hello." "You didn't listen," the voice on the line screamed. "You're running out of time. Tonight, they'll come for you. Do not open the door." "Who's coming?" Yumi demanded. "Tell me what's happening." "Just remember," the voice gasped, "if you don't stop them, I won't exist." The line went dead. That night, as darkness fell, Yumi's house felt different, like it was holding its breath. She locked every door and window again, double-checked everything, and kept a baseball bat close. Around midnight, there was a knock at the door. "Yumi? It's the police. We need to talk to you." She froze. The voice sounded calm, but something about it was off. She tiptoed to the peephole. Two men in uniform stood outside, but their eyes were cold, unblinking. "Yumi," one of them said, "we know you're in there. Open the door." Her heart raced. She clutched the bat tighter, her future self's warning screaming in her head. "Do not open the door." The knocks grew louder, more insistent. Suddenly, the payphone rang again, inside the house. Yumi spun around. The payphone was on the living room floor, even though she'd left it in the park. Shaking, she picked it up. "Do not let them in," the voice whispered. "They're not human. They'll erase everything. If they get you, I'm gone too." "What do I do?" Yumi cried. "Destroy the phone," the voice replied. "It's the only connection they have to you. Smash it now." Yumi hesitated, staring at the phone. If she destroyed it, she might lose her only link to her future self. The door burst open, and the officers stepped inside, their faces unnaturally blank. With a scream, Yumi hurled the payphone to the ground, shattering it into pieces. The figures froze mid-step, their forms flickering like static on a broken TV. Then, they dissolved into nothingness. The house fell silent. Yumi stood trembling, surrounded by shards of the phone. She didn't know if the danger was truly over, but one thing was clear. Her future had just been rewritten.